Hey guys, it's New Order 2013, or Brooke, that's my real name. I decided to do a kind of a get to know me type deal video, like how I got started getting into gaming and um, the first console I played and everything like that. So, well, one of my very first memories was like me in kindergarten playing my Super Nintendo. Like, I'm not kidding, that was like one of my first memories, besides me being like 3. I do remember me being 3, but that's besides the point. Pretty much, I remember we lived in an apartment, and I had a TV in my room. My brother and I shared a room. We had a bunk bed, and I thought that was awesome. I loved bunk beds when I was a kid. Because, you'd like, jump off of them. But we were in an apartment, so people would complain downstairs. So anyways, what I remember us doing is we would always watch, uh, like sci-fi, and then we would play the Super Nintendo. You know the Sci-Fi show when it was SCIFI, I believe, or no, it was SIFI. Yeah, so it wasn't like SYFY like it is today. But we used to watch sci-fi a lot. That's besides the point, though. But then we play our Super Nintendo all the time. And I remember the only 2 games we had was like a Madden football game, which my brother played constantly, and then Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. Um, that's all we play. I would only play Super Mario World. And that was, I believe, the very first time I played a video game. I don't remember like the first time I held the controller and started playing the game. I just remember that was a thing I would do in kindergarten. Like, I'd play my Super Nintendo. So then after that, I remember being in about 2nd grade, and we had a PS1. I don't remember how we got the PS1. I knew it was brand new though because I still had the box. I remember having the box, and on the back of the box would be like all of the games, or they had like an advertisement for the games, like of different games for the PS1, and I just knew. I remember seeing those games on there and being like, I want all those games, and I didn't have those games. I think some of them were like T-rated and M-rated, and I wasn't allowed to have that. The only games I remember having for my PS1 at the time were like the Crash Bandicoot series and the Spyro series and Medieval. I don't know if people remember that game, Medieval. Um, and then a bunch of demos. I remember I had some demos for like a bunch of demos for my PS1. And not to mention, during that time, I would go to friends' houses, and we would play Twisted Metal on the PS1, Siphon Filter on the PS1, the old GTA on the PS1, and let's see. Oh, I remember playing like Harry Potter and Sorcerer's Stone, or is Prisoner of Azkaban. No, it wasn't Prisoner of Azkaban. That's way late. Um, it was Sorcerer's Stone on PS1. And then I remember playing, I believe that's all I played for the PS1. If I knew I played more, I just can't remember what other titles I played. But I did like the PS1 a lot. So I went from Super Nintendo to PS1. But those are just the consoles I owned at the time, during that period. Um, I really, when I would go to this church camp during that time, um, I really loved playing PC games there, and I loved playing the N64. So I play Super Smash Brothers on the N64, and then Donkey Kong on the N64, and then I'd play like Monkey Island on the PC and like Sesame Street games on the PC. I was young, so I would play those games. And then at my mom's work, when I'd go there for her work, I would go in this like back office where a PC was, and play a bunch of like puzzle games and Sesame Street games and stuff like that. And that's what kind of got me hooked. A lot of the Sesame Street games that I play, I believe you created, like you painted a house, and for some reason I loved creating and painting that house in different ways. Um, and then you would like find certain objects. It was kind of like an I Spy game and like kind of like a just a fun little kid game. I play the crap out of that. And then I play Super Nintendo or no, N64 Super Smash Brothers with all my friends at the church camp. That's pretty much all we do. Like I remember at the church camp, I would just go to like field trips and then I would just play video games all day. Like that's all we would do at the church camps. I don't think we ever mentioned God. Like that sounds horrible, but I don't remember that. I just remember playing video games. Moving on from that, I remember buying. No, we went to the mall. This was when I was like in third grade. Yeah, I was in third grade, or I might have been in second grade. It was somewhere around there. But we went to the mall one day, and my dad was like, "Hey, we're gonna go get a PS2," and I was like, "No way!" Like a PS2. I think they just came out. Like I'm not kidding. I think they came out around that time, or it might have been earlier than that. But I thought they came out around that time. So we bought it, and my first game was The Hobbit, which I thought it was amazing. Oh no, it was Ace Combat, I believe, like that plane game. You know, is like you're in planes and you shoot down other planes and stuff like that. Or you're in jets or whatever. So it was that, and then it was The Hobbit, and to me the graphics were amazing because I went from like Super Nintendo N64 and PS1 to a PS2, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. You know, it looks so good. Unfortunately, though, The Hobbit was not a very good game. It was. It didn't really make any sense to me, and I don't even think it's a good game to most gamers today, you know? So it wasn't like anything spectacular, and I knew that then. But then I started buying other games, and I think my favorite game on there was probably uh, around that time I bought, um, I believe, the Jack and Dexter series, and then I bought like Enter the Matrix, and then I bought other games like Kingdom Hearts and stuff, but I wouldn't really play those as much. But I would play the crap out of Enter the Matrix and the Jack games, and then Turok Evolution. And then at my friends' houses, they would have like all the GTA games like Vice City 3 and San Andreas, and I wasn't allowed to play those games, so I would go over to their houses and we would just take turns getting like 5-star wanted levels and stuff like that, and just playing the crap out of GTA. And I remember after playing GTA and Turok, I was like really into like the gory games that I couldn't get my hands on. That really, I really at that time wanted to play in games, which I couldn't. But going back to the PS1, I do remember during that time actually we would play PS1 too, and it would be Twisted Metal. We'd play a bunch of Twisted Metal, and we play, let's see, Siphon Filter. And I don't think we really knew what we were doing with Siphon Filter, but we would play the crap out of the game. Just running around and shooting people, like the enemies. And then after that, we would play, we'd go back to the PS2 and play Rayman. We also played Star Wars Revenge of the Sith right after the movie came out, and we were in love with that game. I remember having a birthday party, and I only had guy friends because only guys played video games at that time in my school. I never met another girl that played video games, at least not as much as I did. So I had a bunch of guys come over for my birthday party, and I believe this was like 2004, 2005, and we played Revenge of the Sith all day, or all night, and until the morning. And speaking of Star Wars, we play a bunch of Battlefront. Like that was our game. Battlefront 2 was our game, and that game was just crazy good. Oh my god. Late nights at friends' houses playing Battlefront, Star Wars games. I believe there was that Bounty Hunter game, Jango Fett Bounty Hunter game for the PS2, and any Star Wars game that came out, we play it because we just love Star Wars. That was during the time when the Star Wars movies started coming out, and me and my friends would just uh, you know, go to the theaters and watch the movies, and then we'd come home, go to each other's houses and play Star Wars games, buy the action figures. You know, just if there was a Star Wars game on the Game Boy SP or Game Boy Advance or Game Boy, we'd buy it. And no matter how crappy it was, it had a lightsaber, we'd buy it. Speaking of that, speaking of the Game Boys and stuff, I actually did have a Game Boy, the original Game Boy when I was younger, the like old school black and white Game Boy, no color Game Boy, and then I had a Game Boy Color when I was like, it was years after that. I must have been in second grade or something, 2002, 2003. And then I got 2004, 2005-ish, SP, converted to my SP. My SP was awesome. I loved my SP. That was probably my favorite handheld system. After that, I went to a PSP. That was actually probably my favorite during that time, because it was such a huge transition from, you know, Game Boy games to like a portable, basically PlayStation 1. Is what it looked like to me, and kind of like PS2, but really crappy PS2 graphics, so it was kind of like a PS1. I thought that was awesome. On there, I'd play Battlefront, I would play the SOCOM games, and that's pretty much all I had on there. Oh, and then the GTA games. So our friends and I would always trade games. Like, if one of us had a game that we beat so many times and we were done with, we trade each other, you know. And pretty much that's all we did. That's how we got our games around, is we would all trade each other so we could all, you know, have the same experience of the game. And if you didn't play the game, you'd borrow our SP game or our PSP game or our Game Boy game. Or you borrow our... It goes back to even like the PlayStation 2, Super Nintendo, all that. We'd always trade games. And I remember especially Pokemon on the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, constantly trading Pokemon games, constantly borrowing Pokemon games. And that even brings me back to, like, this is kind of off topic, but like even Yu-Gi-Oh! We would always like trade Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards and Pokemon cards, and I remember my Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck was like freaking far out amazing. I had all the rare cards, all the holographic cards that were good, you know, like all the good spell cards, trap cards, you know, it was awesome. I would sucker guys into giving me the best cards. I would always like act like the card I had was just so much better than the card they were giving me. So they would give me like a really awesome card and I'm giving them a crappy card. Kind of horrible, but you know. And then I remember us, you know, even like trading like the miniature Transformer toys that came out during that time, and then like Star Wars action figures and like even lightsabers, you know, like the little extendable lightsabers. We trade those all the time too. I remember having a purple one, a red one, and a green one, and that was because I traded so many of mine. And like, oh my gosh, this is kind of off topic, but friends would come over and we would duel on those lightsabers, like full out lightsaber battles. We'd get hurt, but it was so much fun. But anyways, back to video games. So then I went to my mom's house for the summer, and she bought an original Xbox for my stepdad. And I was like, no way, an original Xbox, you know, this is where Halo, you know, you play Halo on the original Xbox and stuff. Because I would always go to my friend Josh's house and we would play Xbox, the original Xbox, like play multiplayer Halo and all that. And so when I saw that she bought it, I was like, you know, hysterical. I was like so excited and crazy about it. And wasn't allowed to get Halo though, which sucked because I wasn't allowed to have M games at the time. But you know, we had Gran Turismo. I'm looking at my games right now. Gran Turismo, Terminator 3, Batman Vengeance, The Haunted Mansion, Enter the Matrix, Grabbed by the Gooligans, and the Lord of the Rings games. Holy crap! Okay, this is gonna end session 1, so stay tuned for session 2.